Hey guys, welcome to the Save Continue podcast, where every week we get together and talk about video games and video game related stuff. I'm Shanae Howard. With me, as always, is Thomas Shelby,
Hello.
and of course, Ryan Robinson.
What up? What up? What up? What up?
So, guys, what have y'all been playing this week?
Tom, go first.
Only thing I've really been playing is Nier Automata. So just been going back through that. And like the first time I played it was on PC and I did pretty much everything you could do there. So now I'm doing pretty much everything you can do again on PlayStation.
You're gonna platinum it? Did you already platinum it?
I haven't, but I'm sure I will. It's not difficult.
Sure.
I mean, not for you.
Well, you can buy the trophies in that game.
With game money, not
Oh.
real monies.
Yeah, with in-game
Oh.
money.
I was like, okay, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a beautiful game,
What,
though.
what about you, Ryan?
Okay. I've got a little bit going on this week, so just hold on for a second. All right. So I've still been playing that Ghost of Tsushima.
hmm
Kaylee beat it just like 10 minutes ago. She got the platinum. Uh,
So she's a sushi ghost now.
yeah, yeah, she's a sushi ghost now. Also, I've been getting back into the Overwatch. So last time I played, I got 2 play of the games, and I was really excited about that. I felt really cool because
Fuck yeah.
everybody got to see my face. Everybody watched me shining. Okay, that was fun. I forgot to mention this last week, but Kaylee bought Ring Fit Adventure, and we haven't been able to do the running because we live in a second-story apartment. So we do the silent mode. So in silent mode, they have you squat repeatedly instead of jogging in place. So there's a lot of like this, and my hammies got sore, but that's a good workout.
How's
Um,
your butt looking? Is it better than ever?
it's always been juicy, man. Um, and last night I got into Dragon Ball Fighters. Not, I said into it is strong. I downloaded and booted it up, and I did some practice drills, and I'm starting to get the hang of the combos, the way that they work. I was texting Tom about it last night about the combos, and like it's got auto combos in there by default, and so that was kind of tripping me up. So, but going through the practice drills and doing all the different combos that it's like feeding to me was really cool. It was fun, and now it's actually got me wanting to kind of want me going wants me want got me wanting to check out Guilty Gear again to see if I could do the combos in that. It's the same kind of. I mean, I'm not well versed in these kinds of fighting games, but insofar as I can tell, the combo structure is roughly the same.
I mean, they're chain combos in
Yeah.
both.
So I feel like maybe I could try that again in Guilty Gear, but I'll probably still always be trash at it. Dragon Ball's okay. I haven't actually played a real match yet, so I don't know. We'll see. I'd like to play a match and see how I actually like it, see how the teams work and everything. But so far, all I know is there's a Vegeta, there's a Piccolo, there's a Goku, and a Trunks. Those are the players
I
that
mean,
I
what else
saw
do
in the
you need to
game.
know?
Yeah, and I will say that what I learned is that everybody can do fireballs, all of them.
I mean,
They could all do fireballs. They could all teleport, and I
They
think
do different things, like the fireball mechanic thing that you're talking about. Different characters will do different things. They're not all fireballs.
okay. So everybody that I've seen
Yeah,
in so far, they can do the
yeah.
fireballs and they can all teleport. Um, but yeah, so far it seems like it could be fun, but I don't know. I got the premium edition because it was on sale for about $18, which is $109 worth of shit. So if I don't like it, then I didn't put too much into it. That's where I've been this week. Shanae, over to you.
so I do want to say, one time since we've been, recording from home, you got up to mess with the blinds or something, and I forgot to tell you, but I did get a comment about how nice your butt was,
Thank
and
you.
because everyone got a
Thank you
full
to
view of it.
whoever saw that or whoever said that. Thank you. I don't.
Um,
I work very hard to eat lots of cheeseburgers to make sure it stays juicy like that.
well, I mean, works for you.
Yeah.
You got a loving partner
Did
that'll
I
top up your coffee cup.
did I tell you
Uh,
about the time when the day I realized I was fat, which was I was watching
well,
YouTube
you feel
videos.
your butt cheeks move.
My butt cheeks moved when I laughed, and that's how I knew.
So, I bought Pokemon Sword and I've been playing that, and I knew what some of the criticisms were beforehand, but I didn't know all of them. But I love it. I've been having a lot of fun.
What are the criticisms of it?
So the National Dex thing, but they've been adding a lot of Pokemon, so like there's very few that are left out. It feels like.
Well, let me spoil
Um,
something for you, okay? Yeah, there was a lot of complaints about it, but the secret is that everyone loved it because everyone bought that goddamn game.
So, another complaint is that some of the cutscenes, the Pokemon in there will be facing one direction, but like going the other. So it just like looks really bad. And a lot of people feel like a lot of the animation they just didn't give a fuck about and they just like put it out there. Also just in general, the way it handles like online features and stuff like that, people aren't super thrilled with the that performance. But I haven't had any like bad things. I haven't
Yeah.
loved all of it. And I really like how the now you can see the Pokemon in the grass, and then like you'll see visible ones, but there's also like random counters that you won't like see, but you'll see like a exclamation mark, so you can still move away from it if you don't want to do it. And it makes me feel like I'm more into Pokemon World because like you would see them in the grass. Like in real life, I see animals when they walk through grass.
Yeah.
They don't just like disappear.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I have beaten the first gym, but I've done like 12 raids, and
Wait,
those are super fun.
what is a raid?
So they kind of have like a wilds area, kind of like a safari area. At least this is my understanding. There's probably more wilds areas, but in there, there's like they look like little wells, and if they have like Pokemon that you can battle that are like stronger leveled than like the average one is, then there'll be like a beam of light, and you can invite friends or just random internet strangers to like come help you fight it, and they are scored on a difficulty level of 1 to 5 stars.
What do you get?
You get so that's the thing I like is so you go in with only one Pokemon, like you don't get your whole roster, but you do know like the type of the Pokemon you're gonna fight, so you can plan accordingly. And you get like XP candies. So say if you have like one really good Pokemon and you're trying to level up something else, you can just give them the candies, but like still play with your good Pokemon. That's like leveled up. And you get like other items that you can sell. They also have a cooking feature. You get ingredients. Um, I don't know.
It's the
I
part of the game that allows you to have right analog stick control.
Nice.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
People were
21st
mad
century.
that the rest of it wasn't like that.
I'm
Well,
fair on that.
it's good.
It's not
Uh,
fair though, right? Like Game Freak is going to spend as little money as they can spend, right?
Yeah,
And people buy it consistently every time anyway.
because the Pokemon.
So why would they then spend more money?
Yeah. If it ain't
I was
broke,
like, I
don't
was like
fix it.
fair for that criticism, but it doesn't bother me. Like I
Yeah.
don't care
It
that I
doesn't bother
can't.
anybody really. Like they still buy it, they still play it. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know.
I like until you brought it up, it did not register in my mind. That was the
Yeah,
scenario. I just
yeah,
noticed that sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. I didn't realize that that was the case. When you brought it up,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, no, you're right on that. Um, so yeah. Now, I mean, yet again, I also tend to like games that a lot of people like. I'm not that I tend to like games that a lot of people criticize, but a lot of criticisms for games, like I'm kind of
Don't
rate
care
or
about,
die.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just like if there are maybe some things that I wish were done differently, but it doesn't change the fact that I love the game. It doesn't make it a shit game.
yeah.
Criticisms don't mean shit if
Uh,
you're having a good time, man.
yep. And then I also bought a new Atomi game on the Switch, $30 one,
Whoa.
Code Realize.
There are how many boys in
And
that? How many boys you get for $30?
I don't know how many boys yet. I've played very little of that because I've been Pokemoning.
I see.
And then I also bought the last parts for my computer, which was my graphics card, my power supply, and my hard drive.
All right.
And my graphics card and hard drive has shown up sometime this week, my power supply, and then I'll have a computer, like a whole tower, and you can't fuck with me.
You'll be a real gamer.
What GPU did you get, Shanae?
So I have let's see. So I
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
what?
Shanae, are you with us? There you are. There you are. You disappeared for a minute there.
Right. What's...
Okay.
Wait, Shanae, are you doing this from your computer?
No, I'm doing it through my phone.
Oh. Because you keep your...
Yeah, you keep disappearing.
I think whenever she exits the app...
That's what I did. I forgot that
Yeah.
we're on that what we're using is not what we normally do, and I forgot that would mess it up if I try to check.
Oh.
So,
That's very funny.
I don't know off the top of my head.
That's okay. I was just curious.
I think so. I know that. So it's. I think it's a 1070 for
That's
my
good.
graphics.
Yeah, that's...
But a lot of the parts are from Berto's computer whenever he's upgraded them over the last like year and a half.
Yeah.
So I can't really get like some of the newer stuff. I know there's like new ones coming out in September or whatever, but I can't use it because it's gonna clock out. So we got some pretty decent we got like and then I got a solid state hard drive. So at least
Okay.
that one's pretty decent. And then yeah, no, I'm pretty excited. I've also been playing Halo Reach with some friends online, and then I haven't really touched Animal Crossing. And I don't want to. I'm really scared about how many weeds are in my village.
I pull those for you.
Thanks.
For a price.
No thanks.
Okay.
And yeah, that's. Did it mess with the recording when I did that or no?
No.
No, I mean, I was laughing over it, so I think that masked it.
But as far as this week goes, I was thinking about now that I'm gonna have my PC built. I want to know how people make money and most of their money from video games. And I know like there's streamers and stuff now, but I kind of wanted to research like how have people made money from playing video games throughout history. And I thought it would be a lot. Like I didn't think it was going to be super long, but I thought that the list would go further, like back, like starting in the 80s. But in my research, I was not able to find like a lot of good examples or information on that. And it definitely seems like it. I mean, I think like we've talked about it probably on the show at some point, but it's starting off with just like local tournaments as far as like people getting like winning money or being paid for this.
For sure.
And so as far as my research of like people like actually making money from playing games brought me to Walter Day and Twin Galaxies. Because I mean, I think before that, I think it was like 72 at like Harvard or Stanford, one of them, they played like Starcade or whatever, and whoever won that won like a year's supply of the Rolling Stones magazine.
Yeah.
But like that's not money.
No, it's actually a present I might give them back.
No, thank you. But yeah, I kind of started there, and then I saw that he started like the first U.S. national video game team in 1983, and like I know Twin Galaxies did help. We talked about it before. Like, well, they did do, and they still do a lot of the record keeping for like Guinness World Records and stuff like that about like who gets high scores. But they also did start like doing tournaments and touring And like Walter Day and a couple different groups would go like touring throughout the country to do different tournaments and different prizes. Uh, and then, I mean, there's Billy Mitchell, but like I don't think he made a lot of money doing what he did. I think he just because when I was looking into him, most of his money was made from like his restaurant.
Yeah. And that's even the case now with people that are playing those types of games professionally, right? They're still like making money off of those games. Most of the guys playing stuff like Donkey Kong or Tetris or whatever,
They own restaurants.
do something else, right? Like Jonas Neubauer owns a brewery. That's how he makes the majority of his money.
Yeah, and then it kind of like brought to Evo, like the first Evo in 1996.
Battle by the Bay is before Evo. That's what Evo spawned from.
So I didn't see like much information about Battle by the Bay. Do you know what the prizes and stuff were that, like off the top of your head?
No, I have no idea. I'm sure it was quite small, but I don't know.
In the hundreds of dollars, maybe.
Okay, so
I'd
I guess
say it was probably still in the thousands, but like, I mean, you know, this is when fighting game tournaments were small.
Yeah.
You know.
So I just realized because you said that I was like, I think I got my facts on it mixed up. But I think it was the first where it was actually Evo in 2002, and not Battle by the Bay that the prize was $15,000.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
Because when I saw that figure, I was just looking up like first Evo tournament prize. So,
Right.
So it probably was like the 2002, not the 1996 Battle of the Bay one.
Right. And what's interesting about that, right? Like 15 grand, even back then, isn't like a ton of money. It's a decent amount of money, right?
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, I wouldn't be mad about 15 grand.
Right. But I think people don't realize that like only one person is winning that much. The next place lower is winning significantly less, right? The next place lower than that is winning significantly less. But the fact is that like if you are a professional fighting game player or even RTS player or FPS player or whatever it might be, that's not your income for the whole year. You're going to other tournaments throughout the year.
A lot of them.
And then also around that time was when like a lot of 2000 was kind of like, and 2001 was kind of big international as far as creating actual like esports groups. Like there's the Korea Esport Association that was kind of made in tandem with the StarCraft channel that they could see on their televisions there. And of course, like they focus on a lot of MOBAs, RTSs, some fighting games, but not really as much as like I found in the States and in the UK. I am blinking, and I realized that I forgot to write down the name of it, but like also the UK esports group was like made like a national one as far as like being in control of that.
Well, and that's like around the time of MLG as well, right?
I believe so. That one I'm not sure 100% on the date, so I don't want to like say bad info. But kind of even across all the different countries, it was just unanimously decided, and I feel like it's similar with a lot of people who do like podcasts and other stuff, is that they made teams because it is easier to get sponsorships and put out numbers if you can combine the numbers of quite a few people, and that's why like you have talked about like the podcast coalitions and stuff like that, and like communities that go into the same branch so they can actually have some sort of bargaining with these companies. And even then, like they're practicing just as much as they do now, but like at least 40 to 50 hours a week, definitely more for a lot of people, and they still were not making a lot of money from even having sponsorships and being part of a team and working that hard. And it's super crazy, like when I was researching a lot of this, just like thinking about how much streamers make nowadays.
Well, like esports teams then and now are significantly different though, right? Like esports teams then are more like Overwatch League is now. where it's like we are the Dallas whatevers and we play Overwatch, right? Whereas you have something like UYU or Evil Geniuses, where it's like they've got fighting game players and they have FPS players and they have RTS players, all under the Evil Geniuses umbrella, you know?
And then, but I did want to like put a thing out there. So so Quake put out in 1987 the Red Annihilation Tournament, and the prize was the lead. I think it was the lead developer for Quake gave up his Ferrari,
Cool.
and I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's a lot of taxes to pay that you probably like
Sure,
can't
but like,
afford.
yeah, but you want a Ferrari playing Quake, man. So
I mean, that's probably definitely. I mean, that Ferrari is probably worth more than some people make in tournaments today. So
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, it is.
it's also like more costly than just getting cash.
Yeah.
And then I was telling you guys before, but like then I was like, all right, well, like let's go a different route to try and find something before 1990. Like, let's just be generous, say 1999, when people can really start making a good amount of money, or let's say a decent amount of money, in playing games professionally. And so I started looking at quality teams because, like, I know that not necessarily the people who end up doing quality assessment for games are necessarily like, I love video games and like they're super passionate about it. But a lot of them still have to have an understanding of the video game industry, what is being asked of them, and also development. And surprise, surprise, a lot of companies don't put out for public information when they start their teams or in their structure changes or how much they paid them in the 1990s.
You're right. But you can find averages on that stuff, though. Like, I've looked them up for the show before.
Yeah, I found averages, but I didn't see anything for the 90s.
Yeah.
Just like currently, like what's the average like in today's world? And then I found some for
Sure.
like 2010, but nothing like in the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, shocker, it's not super high, right?
Yeah.
Depending on where you live, it's livable, especially the guys who are testing in Texas. You can make a livable wage. Are you going to have a great living? No, maybe not. But when it's a job that tons of people want to do, or at least believe they want to do,
Sure.
right? You can pay less for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those potentially foot in the door kind of jobs.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of QA guys go on to much bigger things, right?
Yeah.
Kyle Bossman started off as QA, but you know.
Yeah, and I saw like at least today, like most people who work for like in-house with publishers and part of the team, it's like about honestly, it's about the same amount of like call center work, like $10 to $15 depending on the company.
Sure.
And like of course the area,
Mm-hmm.
all that adjusted and whatnot. So it's not like it is a livable wage if you don't have a lot of things to provide for. Like if you got 4 kids and like you're trying to make a mortgage payment, maybe being QA is not the way that you should go.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it was honestly kind of like a little crazy because I just don't really, until like of course like now looking at, because it's so prevalent in the gaming community, the online aspect of it, and not even just like playing multiplayer, but like being able to form teams, maybe have your teammates be all over the country and practice for tournaments from like the comfort of your home, being like having the streamers, having like all of that, like and knowing how much money a lot of those people make, just like finding out how recent that is.
Yeah.
And having that be a reality check, I think was kind of like, I guess, like the most interesting part for me. A lot of it I figured before I even got, like, even where I looked bigger into it, like that it wasn't going to be the arcade guys making money. It was going to be a lot of the RTSs, because mainly StarCraft, like MOBAs, fighting games.
Yeah.
for the teams, of course, like first-person shooters. Because surprise, surprise, I cannot find anybody that makes a lot of money playing JRPGs.
Yeah.
At least it's not a streamer. Like,
I mean, yeah.
there's no like competitive Final Fantasying, except for like the online games.
Yeah.
But even then,
And it's
you're not making a lot of money.
There are like content creators who get the majority of their content from playing these games, who
Yes.
do focus on things like JRPG. You know,
And-
Valkyrie Aurora makes most of her money off of YouTube, and most of what she does is JRPG. You know.
yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, I did find a lot of people making money off Let's Plays with
Right.
YouTube. I kind of felt was like categorizing them in the streamer aspect, even if they're not live streaming, it is still like them streaming the game that they are playing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still making money playing a video game, right?
Yeah, and I'm not doing that yet.
Yeah.
Which would be great. Any amount of money. Someone pay me $20 to play Pokemon. I'll say I hate stuff.
Sure.
It's interesting too because like I also look at like the correlation between like companies realizing how effective these people can be for selling their product, as far as like be it their platform or a specific game, and realizing like hey, let's throw some money at this person, and they can really pump this game up and like help other people buy it. And so you have people who are really good at like whether they realize it or not are really good at selling shit, making money like by basically like making money selling it by basically playing it and being enthusiastic about it. And then and then I think about like people who like make their entire living off off things like Twitch, and who are basically getting paid like I don't know how like the how that shit kind of works as far as money disbursement goes, but like I know like people like when like they're getting paid by people like subscribing to them as well as getting a kickback from the platform holder itself.
And sponsorship
Yeah,
deals.
sponsorship deals.
Yeah,
Patreons, whatever else. Yeah.
affiliate links, all that jazz. I did wonder this. Do you consider? So I considered like because I had to expand it because it's a lot more recent than I thought it was. Like what I considered like making money from playing the video games and stuff like that. So I considered like Let's Plays. I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's throw those in there. But what about the unboxing videos? People who just because I stumbled upon a YouTube channel that all they do is unbox collector's editions, and they make so much money from their channel. And it was
but you're not making money playing a video game. At that point, you're Unbox Therapy or you're a blind bag channel or whatever else. Like that's what you are. Yeah. Call it what it is, right? Like you're not playing games at that point.
But maybe laugh is because it was predominantly like the sexy games where you get like a body pillow in your collector's edition or like the booby mouse pad.
I didn't even.
And
know
the hornier the better,
Unboxing videos.
I mean, if you're gonna make an unboxing video, you better make it sexy.
Sure.
Yeah, get those white gloves like Larry Herb.
And do a little. Man, he was so horny for that Xbox.
But no, I don't count that as like being a professional gamer, right?
Yeah, because like at the end of the video, after the video, like for all we know, they're throwing the game away. Like like it's just all about like unboxing a product, and it could be and, like these are, and I think that honestly, like them on these unboxing videos can like you can substitute the video game for any other product.
And not to like devalue those content creators. Like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But you're not a professional gamer,
Yeah,
but I was trying to like broaden it. I was like, well, they are making their money off of video games, but they aren't playing them.
Right.
So like, what are they a professional of? Because you're getting paid for it. I guess you're a professional content creator.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's all presentation, right? Like you're basically just a presenter, and like
look at this box.
Yeah, and I think like the whole thing about unboxing videos is that like. You can look up online what's in the fucking box. So like you know what's in the box, but it all comes down to like what the person says as they're opening the box and like their personality. It's like the whole like this shit all seems mostly boiled down to personality. And
I mean, I've definitely looked at an unboxing video because I've been burned by collector's editions before that
sure,
do have pictures online,
yeah,
and then like, but then like the actual product ends up getting either changed right before launch.
Yeah, vinyl bags.
yeah.
I was thinking the Batman Arkham Asylum collector's edition just ended up with that shitty ass battering, and I was so
You
excited.
talked about it.
Sure.
I was so excited. And also, like, you know, like some of the I also talked about it, like some of the statues being lower quality than like what it looks like online. So they are helpful in that aspect as a consumer. That's the first time I ever.
Not trying to devalue what they do,
But they're still not playing a video.
Yeah.
But they are not gamers.
Yeah.
Like they might be gamers, but they are not professional gamers in that they're making their living playing games.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just came across it and specifically that channel. I was cracking up, like so like preciously like holding the statue of just basically giant tits and a small anime girl's face on it, just like, oh look.
Yeah.
Well, someone's got to do it.
Yeah. I mean,
we're not doing it.
So I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah, right. But that's the funny thing, right? Like, if you guys
we should change our channel.
You guys remember we got like that crappy tier 1 shit?
Oh yeah, I had.
And like we could have made an unboxing video out of that crap, but like none of us would have wanted to do that. None of us would have enjoyed doing that.
Because I think that like if you're, I don't know, because I don't want. I feel like saying that it seemed hack is an insult to people who actually do that stuff, but like it would have seemed disingenuous to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and like I wasn't actually like. I feel like doing videos like that, they have to they require a certain level of anticipation and excitement about the product that you were unboxing.
Yeah.
And like me not knowing a whole lot about the people who made this product, like, you know, I don't know how excited I could have been about it. But
I mean,
but let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Janae. What about like YouTubers that do game reviews? Because like the assumption there is that they have played the game.
Sure.
In order to do said review.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it definitely depends.
Like CGR, right? Like they've been around. They started on cable access before YouTube, and that's how they've made their entire living. Granted, they had to let some people go because they couldn't afford to pay everybody.
Yeah.
But like, that's still how he makes his living, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I say okay. I because I was also trying to think, because when I was going through, of course, like you know, like esports and different stuff, like G4 got brought up, and I was like, well, what about the people who were on G4 when that was an actual channel? Like,
yeah.
A lot of those you also are assuming that they played that game, and some of them
Right.
definitely were just reading from a script that was written by somebody who had played it.
Well, if you're talking about like Adam Sessler, like he played those games,
Yeah, they got shit.
But
I just remember there was like one girl. I was like, I don't think you've played this. Like, I just like
I don't think, and I know you haven't, are two very different things, you know?
Yeah.
I said it seems like they're just reading from a script.
Yeah.
Well, I think
sure, they are reading from a script. Doesn't mean that they haven't played it.
Yeah.
You know?
At a certain point.
I mean, I still feel like it should be your opinion and not, I don't think it necessarily has to be your words, because there are people who are much more eloquent than I am, but that is still my opinion and I agree with it. And I think that there is a difference on that than like reading a script that you don't necessarily support or fully understand, rather than a script that is about something that you have played, if that makes sense.
There are like a lot of IGN and GameSpot and Polygon reviews, video reviews specifically, right, where an editor has played and reviewed the game, and wrote the review for the game, but somebody else is reading their review of it.
Yeah, they're narrators.
Right, but that is typically clearly stated,
but then,
and like especially if you go back to like game trailers, right?
But the narrator, I don't consider being a professional gamer.
Sure.
The reviewer, the one who wrote the script, I'm
Right.
down to
and that's
throw
what
them
I
in.
mean. That's what I mean. You know, they're still making money off of that. If you look at people like Brandon Jones, like he made a living reading other people's reviews. You know, but
I mean, like basically all of the Escapist content, like all of that.
I don't know anything about that, but yeah.
But yeah, I do feel like that also falls underneath it, and it's so weird that when you think of professional gamer in like 2020, everyone's first thought is a streamer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because that's the contemporary now, right? Like, if we were talking about like the late 80s.
Well, I should say Twitch streamer. Sorry, because I said earlier I consider like Let's Plays and stuff, but a lot of people when they think of it, they think of Twitch streamers because like they hear the money that like Lyric or Ninja or whomever is like making, and it's a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, but again, that's just because it's the contemporary, right? But if we go like to like the 80s and like all the way through like the 90s. Like the professional, like you could classify that as somebody who works at GamePro or EGM. Like those people got paid to play video games. Like in the days before there was like streaming on the internet. So, these are people who had to like go to an office and like sit at a desk for like 12 hours a day, like to play this game so they could write a review for it, like by the end of the week. So, you know, but like I think that like growing up in that age, like I think that like that had always been my idea of like I wanted to work at Video Game Magazine because like these people, like in my mind, they got paid to play video games and then talk about them like all day.
And that's all there really was, right? Yeah. Unless you were like buying like a fucking Brady guide for Final Fantasy or whatever, you know.
Yeah, but well, that's another thing too. People who like write strategy guides, like how you like these are people who are also getting paid to play video games. It's like how are you gonna write a strategy guide on a game you never played, right?
Well, especially when it's like physical format like that, like those used to be, right? And that like the guide for Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation 1 published and sold probably more copies than many novels, you know, than a lot of novels, you know what I mean? But how good of a living did that author make? Who knows?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I also wonder about those because I'm gonna be honest. A lot of that I just assumed, like a lot of that information was given from the developer and publishers.
And I'm sure a lot of it is, right? That's pre-release content, right? That comes out day and date with the game, typically.
Yeah,
but I mean, so do reviews, right? Like nearly everybody, unless you're fucking Bethesda, gets game reviews, like review copies early.
Like,
you know,
like at least a week ahead.
Right.
Yeah, because I just imagined it being more of like a like programmer's notes that like somebody has to like read and then like make the guide out of, because I don't necessarily think that they have to, because like especially with how many updates and like changes that most of them don't happen very last minute because of course they have to do production and they have to make like hundreds of thousands of copies of this game.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I just don't know how like strategy guides are like really written or made. I just always
I mean, as far as those back then, I couldn't really say whether it's like some employees from that company or not. But nowadays, very rarely is that the case. And typically the people writing guides that come out now are better informed than the people that made the game.
So there you have it.
I just never assumed it was one person just like playing it over and over again to get every like hidden spot for every item or whatever.
Well, it's no different than you writing your Bravely Default guide, or like Corey. Corey just published a Resident Evil 0 guide. He wrote that, you know. But
yeah, I mean, granted,
he's probably not making any money off of it, but he wrote that, and it's very comprehensive if you're looking to get a platinum trophy in that game, you know. But
I mean, I wasn't. I might now. Yeah, I mean, on mine, but I still didn't feel like I necessarily was putting out everything that could be helpful when I was writing it, and I never finished it really. So I mean,
well, and a lot of guys, especially nowadays, have contributors, right? more than one person going at the same game. But yeah, back then, like, I do wonder how it worked exactly back then, because I didn't pay attention to who was writing those guides back then. Yeah. You know, nowadays there are plenty of people. There are whole teams that write guides for larger sites like your IGNs and your GameSpots and whatnot. You know, and they are literally making money writing these guides. They're making their living writing these guides. Yeah. You know,
I remember when I used to like back in the 90s, I used to get the guides for Mortal Kombat. Had all the moves in them, and I'd look at these guides and I'd be like, how do they fucking know? How do they know?
How do they know?
Because this is like these are in the days before like the command list was in the game itself. So
right.
I always be like, how did they figure that shit out? And it never occurred to me that maybe someone just told them how to do those things. But
yeah, like as of now, 2020, right? There are people who make their living writing guides.
Yeah.
And the assumption is that they play those games, you know. But
yeah,
I do feel. Yeah, I mean, it's
like
not like
Jeanette Garcia, for instance. She makes her money writing guides for IGN.
Great.
You know,
sounds cool. I'd do it.
But like Prima is the one I was trying to think of. I was like, what's the one that I bought the most from? Because I was like, I don't think I've ever bought a Brady strategy guide.
But I mean, those were the two, right? Those were the two big ones.
Oh man, I got a whole stack of Brady and Prima strategy guides in my mom's house. And
you can still go online on Amazon and find like generic guides to like Super Mario Odyssey or whatever.
But,
you know?
like, I don't know. It's funny because for me, like a lot of the time I would buy those guides and it was like for like the artwork they would have in those guides that I wouldn't see anywhere else. That's what I liked about them. But yeah, I guess I never thought about like, and then there was also those guides though that were like those physical guides that were published that were like the unofficial guide for whatever.
Right.
You know?
That still happens, man.
Yeah.
But
oh god. No, I took that back. Because they made I just realized that they made the cheats, achievements, and like trophies books for stuff.
Yeah.
So I never bought it, but I have had them in my possession.
Tips and tricks, man.
Yeah, no,
well, Tips and Tricks made money after publishing the same thing month after month.
Yeah, it worked though.
Yeah, I don't know. I just assume like, they know everything about this game. They must work for the company. Must be the company telling them where the stuff is.
And that may have been the case back then. I don't know.
There has to be,
but that's not the case now.
Yeah, at least some of that, right? But I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
there's some quality photos where they kept, and I just didn't think that they'd I don't know. Sorry, my mind's blown right now. My view of reality has changed. Sure. I don't know who I am as a person.
Sure.
But since I have not had a lot of knowledge when it comes to like being a professional video game person, in whatever like context it is, we were talking before that y'all are aware of a lot of fighting game people who make quite a decent amount of money playing. Yeah. I should say quite a bit.
That's just in our wheelhouse, right? Yeah. Like neither Ryan or I are watching competitive StarCraft or anything like that, you know.
Doesn't make sense to me. We're all in bugs, you know.
Those are Berserk.
Yeah. But like it's just like, and the amount, and like we were talking about before, like the amount of money that they'll make from tournament to tournament like varies wildly depending on like the level of prestige associated with that tournament.
Are all of them that y'all are aware of like a pot system?
Tournaments?
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I know that some of them are, but I don't know if all of them are.
So I think Evo is that way, isn't it? For like each category is a different pot?
Yeah. But as far as like CPT, like I know a lot of that money comes from like sales from DLC and like other random shit, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm sure like other people can contribute there. I don't really know.
Yeah.
By the way, if anybody listening is somehow less informed of a person than I am, I just have gone to quite a couple fighting game tournament spots it's always the top 8 players, or predominantly, gets shares the main amount. Obviously, the first player gets the most money.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, players though.
Well, I'm not even just talking about players like Wooly Madden from like Best Friends. You know, he's been doing that shit for like 10 fucking years, and even now that Best Friends is over, he's still doing fighting game content, and he makes his living doing fighting game content. You know,
Maximilian Dude.
Yeah, Maximilian Dude.
Um,
But you know, like guys like that, yeah, Maximilian Dude definitely makes more money than Wooly Madden does.
yeah.
But like Wooly still makes his living off of doing this stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said for YouTubers / streamers, you know. Like
So what
you can do that.
what's Best Friends?
You never watch like Best Friends play,
Like 2 best friends.
like Matt and Pat,
yeah.
you know? No.
Yeah,
It
no,
wa-
these
it was
names mean
a-
nothing to me.
It was a comedy Let's Play channel.
Yeah.
Were they not
But-
really friends?
Well, one of them's a bigot.
well, turns out they're not so much friends nowadays.
so.
But Wooly Madden helped start that channel. Before he was a part of it, he introduced those two to each other.
Okay.
But became part of that channel doing things like Friday Night Fisticuffs, which was like weekly fighting game show. Saturday Night Scrub Lords, which was weekly bad fighting game show. You know?
Yeah.
But he still continues to do that stuff today on his own without those guys. Other guys like Justin Wong. Justin Wong's been around for fucking
Oh
ever,
yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
That's a name that I recognize, and I'm not in the community, and that's
And,
not
like-
just because of you guys.
He's gone from team to team. He does a YouTube channel. He does streaming. He is sponsored by a lot of people, but now he has his own team and sponsors other players.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know how much
No
Justin
team
Wong
can
is
hold
worth.
him.
I don't know how much he's worth, but I know he's provided like a nice house for his wife and child, and I know he's provided a nice house for his mother and father, and like he seems to be pretty on top of it financially.
Yeah.
Mike.
Mike.
According
And he's
to
constantly
2009
being sponsored, like Victrix sponsored him, you know.
Yeah.
But,
Supposedly in 2019, and this is a giant variance, between $1 and $4 million is his net worth.
but even if it's $1 million,
Yeah, it's in
That
the
ain't bad.
millions.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
And the only other
I
person
wouldn't
I
say
wrote down
no.
was Ricky Ortiz, who they were at one point part of the same team.
Right.
But she's been in the game just about as long as he has. And like, dude, she just recently did something for Vogue. Like she puts in work, you know?
Yeah.
But
real
like,
quick, just to go back to Justin Wong, apparently in 203 tournaments, like not counting sponsorships, all the other stuff he did, just 203 tournaments, he has won a combined $129,000 and $129,074.66.
yeah, but the funny thing about that is like, look at that compared to your higher StarCraft players or your higher ranking fucking Fortnite players or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, because Justin Wong isn't at the top, but he's damn fucking close to it, you know? You're not going to find players making much more than Justin Wong in the fighting game scene.
Hajime Tokido,
Oh yeah,
Tokido, yeah.
Tokido is the beast. Well, I guess Daigo's the beast, but
$486,000, $486,404.40 in 84 tournaments. I'm on the esportsearnings.com. Let's see how factual that all is.
Well, it's like, you know, Taquito won Evo, but like Justin won Evo as well, you know?
See, anyway, Punk,
Yeah, Punk makes some money for sure.
$333,580. Knuckle
like,
Do,
Yeah, Knuckle Do, he doesn't play anymore. He actually recently got in a pretty bad car accident.
oh yeah.
But
Is he okay?
yeah, I don't know if he's okay. He's alive. I know that.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I meant. Like,
But
is he alive and not in like critical condition?
Yeah. But like, you know, you're naming a lot of 09ers. Like, you know, as far as people that have been around for a while is what I thought we were trying to go for, you know.
Oh, I just found this website and I was just
Yeah.
listing what they found.
Yeah.
Well, because I was looking at the current net worth of Justin Wong, and then I found this website that said how much he was making just from tournament winnings.
Yeah. But like Justin and Ricky are the two that I constantly go back to, partly because they're my favorite fighting game players, but also partly like they've been around for a long time and they make their living doing this, you know?
So, like I mean, I guess this might seem like a stupid question, but is it just that they're good? Like, I mean, I know I'm aware of a lot of things wrong and going on with the fighting game community, and not just
Yeah.
Smash Brothers, but quite a few other games as well.
Yeah.
Is it like, as far as people loving them and going back to them, like you say, like there has to be a reason that like all these like sponsors and different things want to do these things for these players, especially like if they have a name and it's not just the team that they want to support.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Like,
it's funny, right?
Is it just that they're very good at the game and the sponsors know they're going to win, or like how much does personality really play into it?
Personality is a lot of it.
It's a lot.
At least in the fighting game scene.
Yeah, low tier god. Like, he's not a bad fighting game player, but he's got a trash persona.
Yeah.
So
wasn't there somebody who recently got like super high up and it was like really trashy? That's really vague. Never mind. Ignore that question.
But I mean, like, yeah, it is. The personality is a large part of it. You're not going to make a lot of money streaming. Like, okay, for instance, like Daigo Umehara, right? Everybody knows that name. And he gets sponsorship deals, but he doesn't get sponsorship deals like these other players do because, frankly, his streams aren't as interesting to watch. He doesn't have a bad personality.
He's kind of just like a dude. And
yeah.
So like he's like if you're in it to watch someone play Street Fighter well, then that is very entertaining. But like him as a dude is not that entertaining.
But if you look at like the sponsors on his stream, like what's on screen framing his stream, it's nowhere near as what you see on a Justin stream, right? Or even a fucking Maximilian stream, you know?
Yeah.
So.
People
want to sponsor who they want to sponsor a player who's going to reach the widest audience, right? And the players that are going to reach the widest audience are the good players, but also the players that people want to watch.
Yeah.
You know.
Because I was just thinking, I was like, because like, I know that you obviously like really you really enjoy talent and skill, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like. And
Justin and Ricky, I think, are they're extremely talented, extremely skillful, you know. Wooly Madden, while he has competed in tournaments, right? Like, he did a match against Daigo Umehara. He got his ass beat, but he did a match against the guy. He is not the best fighting game player. Maximilian Dude is not the best fighting game player, you know.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you
it.
personally watch these streamers that are not, like, necessarily as good? Like, not so they're bad. They could do tournaments and probably better than your average player.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Saturday Night Scrub Lords and Friday Night Fisticuffs for years. I watched Maximilian Dude for a long time, you know, but it's more for like it's the hangout, right? Like it's the, hey, we're gonna hang out and play some fighting games and make a bunch of dumb jokes, and you know, it's fun.
Is it common to like have different sponsors for? You may or may not know this question or the answer to this question, but is it like so like Daigo whatever or Justin Wong or I don't know him.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Daigo.
Go on.
Daigo. Okay. Daigo or whatever. So when they are playing like professional esports and like whether they're on a team or like on a tournament, just like single, and they have like sponsorships, like you see them on their jackets or like talking about it, are those necessarily the same sponsors that you're seeing on their streams?
For the most part. Usually. For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't know because it's two different.
Tricks, right? So like he uses that stick in tournament. You see it on his jersey, and it's on his screen as well. You know, Daigo Umehara is sponsored by Red Bull, so you see a bunch of Red Bull shit all over the place.
Oh, no wonder you love him. You think with all Red Bull, he'd be more excitable and exciting.
You know, like Ricky Ortiz. I mean, it's the same with most of these people. what's funny is like you do see like the gross side of that as well. Like Infiltration was sponsored by Razer specifically for their Ryan fight pad. So he's like peddling this fight pad all over Twitter. He doesn't play with a fight pad. He plays with a stick, you know. But
I mean, like, how scandalous is it? Like, if like someone is on a team in like esports or like for like a Evo tournament or whatever the other fighting game tournaments are, and like they get sponsored by like Mad Cats.
yeah.
Is it pretty scandalous that they don't use Mad Cats on their streams? Like,
I
if
don't
it's not
know.
like
I don't know that I've ever seen that. You know what I have seen? I have seen like a sponsored player, like a stick player who is sponsored by that manufacturer who's had malfunction in tournament and had to use somebody else's stick, you know?
Yeah.
But as far as like on stream, I can't recall ever seeing that.
yeah, because I was trying to think of like also like Red Bull, like you get a Red Bull patch on your jacket or whatever. Like, do you
Yeah.
gotta be like, is it scandalous if you never see him drink Red Bull at the tournament or on stream?
I'll say this:
Yeah.
like I watch Smug like every week, and he's got G Fuel all over his. He's got G Fuel on his jersey and all his streams. He's got a bunch of canisters of G Fuel behind him. I've never once seen him consume any G Fuel.
He surrounds himself with it, but does not imbibe.
Yeah,
That's very funny. That's very funny.
but
I don't think I've ever seen Daigo Umehara drink a Red Bull, but
Yeah, I just don't know like how much those two things transition because I feel like there has to be some people that are part of like the Dallas team or whatever for something
yeah.
that they get sponsored, they get joined the team and they get sponsored because they're on the team. But if they want to do their own stuff on the side, like I would assume that sponsorship doesn't have to necessarily roll over. I just didn't know how commonplace that was or if like it was like a big thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but like, I think as long as things don't conflict, I would assume that it's okay, right? Because you see people like Tanukana GG, she's sponsored by UYU, like she's on that team, right? But like, also sponsored by Red Bull. Like,
Never
I
seen her
would
drink a Red
imagine-
Bull.
Like, no, she's all about some Red Bull, but like,
Fuck yeah.
What's
That's
funny
my
about it
girl.
is like you assume that people in this position, it's best to cast a wide net, right, and be sponsored by as many companies will sponsor you. But
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. I mean, that's not us, you know.
sure.
I mean, at least until you get like a name for yourself and you can really, or your team, and you can really cater and then demand more money necessarily from one sponsor and be like, I'm gonna drop all these bitches. Like, you be my
Yeah.
main.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how those deals go. I don't, as far I know how like generally how it goes with podcasts, so I assume that a lot of stuff probably translates pretty similarly. It's all
Well, that's the
business.
other thing, right? Like a lot of these players that I'm talking about also have Patreons, also have YouTube channels. You know, like they're making money elsewhere as well. But
Yeah, especially like
Cast a wide net.
Yeah.
Get all the money.
like tournaments aren't really happening this year, so I mean they got
no, they're still doing.
Yeah.
I mean, the pots aren't as big, but they're still doing tournaments right now.
well,
Evo didn't
Yeah.
happen,
yeah.
but
I mean, that to be fair,
but that's not the only one.
sure.
Do you feel like tournaments are a viable way to make money?
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that they will?
if you are good enough.
if you're
yes.
if you're good enough and you could if you're good enough if you're good enough to justify like the expense of traveling and all that other shit, then
Mhm.
like why not? Like if I
There's a lot of people have grand delusions that that this travel is going to be their ticket into
yeah,
like.
but like at the same time, if I were at like a Sonic Fox level, I would be like every tournament, like all of the time, because like why not?
The thing is, like those players typically are not right.
Yeah.
It's these smaller players.
Yeah.
There's players that like. I think the cool thing about fighting games, and it applies to other games too, right? Like StarCraft 2 is a fucking old game,
Yeah,
right? But like there are players who make their living playing 20-year-old fighting games.
yeah.
They just go to a lot of tournaments and play a lot of old fucking games.
We were
you
just
know?
like we
Yeah,
just-
because that website I found like 203 tournaments.
Right.
And that's like where you're at. Like obviously he's making his money from like sponsorship, streaming, other Patreon, all those other things as
Well,
well.
it's also like you go to CEO or you go to Evo and you're Justin Wong, you're competing in fucking 10 tournaments at that one event.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
And
So
like,
I was thinking that like each one was
Right.
like the main name. I didn't think about each category.
yeah.
Yeah, no, like this
So I was
last
like, that's a lot. That's over a lot of years, and probably doing a lot of like local tournaments as well that get like labeled and like that don't have big pots. So it puts that number on there, makes it look lower for the amount
Yeah.
that's on there.
like last
But that's
Combo
like,
Breaker, he won like 6 tournaments.
Yeah.
You know.
I forgot about how could I forget about Combo Breaker? I love the name of that one.
But yeah, like Tom and I just watched a video for like we didn't just watch it, but like it was a few weeks ago that we watched a video of a recent tournament for Last Blade 2, which came out in 1998. You know, and people make money playing that game.
Yeah, and those are small, right? What you're talking about is those Team Spooky next level tournaments, right? Which is what. Yeah, it's just smaller scenes, smaller New York tournaments, right? It's what Chinatown Fair turned into.
Yeah.
But like those are paid tournaments, and those players go to other tournaments and go there weekly, and like they can make enough to live off of playing these games. They're not living in a fucking mansion, you know. But like that's how they're
not
making
in
their
Justin
living.
Wong's wife's mansion.
Right.
But you have like I see players like Foxy Grandpa who's like flying from the UK to like compete in the US like all the time, and like I mean that's not cheap, but like but he's good enough to where you know that's viable. That could be viable for him. But I mean, I'm not gonna fly to the UK to do a fucking tournament. I'll get my just to like pay like $2,000 to fly to the UK and get my ass kicked and come home. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But
yeah, but I don't think it's necessarily the tournament money that he's like banking on. It's the sponsorships and everything, and the visibility that he gets from it as well.
Tournaments help.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that they don't. I just feel like even with all of that, like the fact that you can win some tournaments and get number one in $100,000 pot, like is great, and definitely would cover the airfare from here to UK. But is like obviously that's not a guarantee.
Well, and I'm talking about like players that are doing these small tournaments, like you're winning $500, you know, that are still making a living doing that. They're just doing enough of it.
I mean, we don't live in an area.
Think about like Next Level, right? Next Level is every fucking week, you know? Yeah, like you could do that, you know?
Do some money matches on the side.
If you're good.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Like,
but
I mean, like I'm not gonna throw down cash to get my ass kicked. That's just not me, but I mean,
you gonna compete next time?
Fuck no. Not at that level. Like never, you know?
Yeah. You're not next level?
No. But
no.
Yeah, like I think there's a lot of ways to make money playing games that are just a little more unconventional, like writing guides or whatever else, you know.
Or what are those people who are like, I don't know if this is still a thing that people are paying people to do, but being like people who are like Fortnite tutors and Minecraft tutors and
that guy who spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars to try and train his kid to be like a Fortnite champion.
Yeah. Well, it's even like these specific people, right? Like Cross Counter used to, and I believe now again, offered fighting game lessons from players like Ricky Ortiz and Justin Wong and Gutex, and like,
I would gladly.
Would you pay for that?
I would gladly pay for that.
Absolutely, I'd pay for that. Absolutely, I would.
I have Ricky Ortiz.
I know what I'm doing for a Christmas present.
Yeah,
if you got a few $100s, all right.
I just bought a bunch of computer parts.
I mean, it's cheaper than like a Cameo, but it's still pretty expensive, you know.
Hey, no, there's like some cheap ass cameos. I think like Ice-T is still $150, dude.
I'm not paying $150 for Ice-T.
Yeah, well, Flavor Flav is like $500, and I'm not doing that. Ice-T is a deal comparatively.
Did you say Flavor Flav?
Yeah.
Walker Flocker Flame.
I'm Caucasian.
A friend of mine was telling me that some friends of hers who do a podcast paid for a Bam Margera cameo. I don't know how much they paid.
That.
But like
Probably like $100.
but he showed up on the cameo drunk, which I thought was kind of funny.
Awesome. I mean, I think, yeah, I told you, like, Stanley from The Office is $350. I mean, it might be more now,
Who?
but Stanley from The Office,
Oh, okay. Leslie David Baker.
yeah, him. And the lady who played Jan, like, put herself as like $1,000.
Yeah.
Jan's not worth $1,000.
Yeah. Tan all over, Jan all over.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like this is like a super educational video. I kind of set the topic as a way to push myself to research something that I wanted to find out, and I didn't really necessarily find out the answers I thought I was going to.
Yeah, dude, but you taught yourself about Walter Day. That's awesome.
I mean, I've heard of Twin Galaxies before because looking at like Guinness Records book, like and like things like that, but I never like looked into Walter Day's thing.
Oh, I think that's another thing that these guys can make money at that's working now that everybody's stuck at home. Like, since this whole COVID shit's been going on, Justin Wong is just like, what fighting game records can I break on stream? And it's like fucking every couple of days, hey, I broke this world record, you know? Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
I mean, how do we know that video isn't edited? You can edit videos live.
Sure. You know, Twin Galaxies accepts videos, but sure.
Twin Galaxies, man. Like, do y'all not know about deepfakes?
I'm actually like really into
I wish someone could deep fake my hands playing a video game.
They're also going to use a smoothing filter, get rid of all the wrinkles and cigarette stains.
Shanae, if you've got time, there's a really good Terminator 2 deepfake with Bill Hader as the T-1000.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen Terminator 2 or 1.
That's the way to watch it, honestly.
So I do want this to be my only experience with Terminator 2 is watching the deepfake version, because I will make that my reality.
I mean, sure. You mean you should do that. And then, Shanae, did you say that? Did I hear you correctly? You watched They Live for the first time recently?
Yes. As I mentioned on this podcast before, I started hosting another podcast with some friends from work. And the guy, Tank. He's been on the show. He does like 5 podcasts.
That's a good guy. That's a good guy.
He got to his 100th episode, and so all of the podcast co-hosts across all of them got together, and most of them I've seen.
Yeah.
Most of them.
It's the podcast cinematic universe.
All of them have watched They Live. Know about them. I mean, like a lot of them are like really big horror genre fans. Love John Carpenter. There was a very big debate that this was not a horror. None of them liked my criticism that, or I don't think, I shouldn't say, none of them say that they said this, but I didn't seem to get a lot of agreement when I said that They Live is basically a thriller rom-com. And that Roddy Piper and Keith Davids, yeah, they flirt the entire time. People say bromance. His name's Frank in the thing. Like, he mentions his wife and kids a couple times. There is no wife and kids. He is all about that Roddy Piper, and his ass looks fantastic in that. And they definitely flirt. And I don't know. I'm all about Frank and Roddy now. Well, I know in the movie that he doesn't get named, but yeah, I loved it.
How did this
They
happen?
Live was great.
I shouldn't have said anything.
How did this happen?
That's my fault. I shouldn't have said anything. I was proud of you for like a minute, and then like you fucked it up.
But that alleyway scene with all the domestic violence, or like fight, whatever you want to call it,
Shanae, come on.
was pretty brutal. And I think James, he does the horror podcast, and then also does like Stable of Studs, the wrestling one with them.
Okay.
He was explaining that like apparently like because whenever he's like holding him up for like the pile driver, apparently they had to do that like 15 times, and every single time Roddy was like good down, like was just holding it, and they would have to hold it before like between scenes, which makes it even more impressive. That fight scene was pretty good. I also love the ghoulies. I like their design a lot.
Okay.
What?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I'm glad.
Oh, they're aliens, but what?
I just.
They call them ghouls in the credits.
No, it's fine,
Yeah.
Shanae. It's fine. I'm glad you saw the movie. I just didn't expect you to say the things that you said about it. But it's fine.
Like, that they're in love, obviously. Yeah.
It's just I don't know why people can be just friends, Shanae. That's totally fine.
No, that's not fine for Shanae Howard.
Everything's an
No,
Otomi. with
rewatch
this
that
one.
movie. They flirt
I've
so
seen
much.
that movie like 1,000,000 times.
Ryan,
What?
I
You
don't like
forget-
following a guy unless I
you
know
forget
what he's
that-
taking me
you
to.
forget that
I don't
Shanae is
like
one of
being
these people-
followed.
You forget that Shanae is one of these people who talks about how shitty Jim and Pam are.
Oh right, yeah. They're the problematic ones, not the
Yeah.
fucking psychopath with weapons all over the office. Not him.
Yeah.
Which one? Who's the
Dwight.
psychopath with weapons? Oh. Him and Angela are cute.
Shanae in the show.
But yeah, if you want to tell me why my opinion is bad, you can reach us on our Discord, or Tom also posts on Instagram every couple weeks in his words. Hit us up on that. You can find us on most podcast apps. We're also on the YouTube if you want to see our faces. And bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.